Hey there, happy Thursday afternoon, and thanks for joining me on my Facebook Live today. I'm Leslie Dories, and I am making a mess, obviously, knocked my phone off. I'm Leslie Dories, and I am the owner of Foundations Coaching, and I'm also the creator of the Hero Husband Project, and obviously not very good with technology. But I wanted to thank you for joining me because today's topic is really, really important. I'm always asked about couples and fighting and what's normal in fighting and how do you fight fair and all these wonderful questions about fighting. And if anybody knows me, they know that one of my positions is if you're fighting, it's because you're choosing to. Now, mind you, I'm not talking about disagreeing. I'm actually talking about fighting. And there is one word, one very small but critically important word that we all use all the time that when it is used is almost always going to guarantee a fight. And that little word is the word you. Now, when we say you, unless we're saying, I love you, you're wonderful, I'm glad you're in my life, then you can use the word you to your heart's content. But it becomes a problem when it shows up in the first three words of a sentence like you did, you said, why did you, when you did. Right then and there, that word you becomes a fighting word. It becomes a shot across the bow, and your partner or whoever you're talking to is going to take it as an attack. And when we're attacked, we defend. And I was having a conversation with somebody just today about this very topic, and I got told that they needed to use the word you to their partner, otherwise their partner was not going to understand that it was a behavior that this person was doing that was problematic. And unfortunately, that is a very, very, very common reaction. But part of the reason why I learned about why you is such a problem is many years ago I was working with a couple and she was getting really upset. And by the way, she had a legitimate reason to be bothered by what was happening. She had repeatedly asked her husband not to leave dishes in the sink at night before they went to bed. Now, whether or not she should get upset about this, not the issue. But so what would happen is she'd get up in the morning, the dishes would be in the sink, she'd get upset, and she would start, why did you leave the dishes in the sink? You know it upsets me, blah, 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 blah. Well, he would immediately get defensive. And even though he would acknowledge that, yes, the dishes were in the sink as a result of an action that was not taken by him, he couldn't in the moment acknowledge that. So I said, let me try this. I said, if she came down and said to you, it really upsets me when I get up in the morning and come downstairs and find the dishes in the sink. I know it's a small thing, but it just really starts my day off on the wrong foot. And I said to him, what do you think would happen if she approached it that way? And not really to my surprise, he said, I think I probably would have handled it a little bit better. And I'm going to tell you, this is not an easy thing to do. You comes out of our mouths really, really easily. And it's going to take a little bit of retraining to not do that. But I'm going to tell you it's worth it because it will probably prevent a fight from happening. And so one of the things that you may have heard about communication is to use I statements. And I statements are really good as long as the word you isn't in there. So it's not, I feel really unimportant when you leave the dishes in the sink. Can't have that word you. The you can be implied, but when it's outright stated, it does something. It gets the other person going. And even if they agree with your position, it's really hard for them to hear it. So I'm a big proponent, again, of I statements being used appropriately without the word you in them, and also to use we. Could we do it a different way? Could it be done a different way? But try not to use the word you. And I'm going to be honest. I've been told by many of my clients that this is the hardest suggestion that I make. Now, and sometimes it sounds like we're playing grammar gymnastics or trying to figure out how to say what we want to say without the word you. But there's another good outcome from that. That in trying to figure out exactly how we're going to say something, if we try really hard to say, okay, how do I say this sentence without using the word you? Then it calms us down, makes us take a step back, and actually makes us think about what it is we're going to say. And that's a secondary thing that will help prevent an argument from happening. So I challenge you to pay attention not only to how many times the word you comes out of your mouth, but also the reaction that that word brings about when it's sent in your direction. So hopefully this has been helpful. And if you actually have any questions about how to do this or any other community questions, just give me a comment down below and let me know, and I'll be in touch with you. So until next week, stay loving.